Hi, it's Terry with My Ketogenic Family, and I just thought I would show you how I do my pork rind pizza crust. I've shared it on several different avenues, but I've never actually done the actual video. So today I'm going to show you how that comes together. So I started out using shredded cheese. You can certainly do that. It's already shredded for you. But I discovered that the additives in the shredded cheese tend to make it a little clumpy and don't have it come together like an actual dough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cube up a block of mozzarella. I double my recipe, so I make 8 individual pizza crusts. They're about 8 inches in size. I'm gonna use a 2-pound block of cheese, mozzarella cheese, and I'm just gonna chop it up. So I'll cut into that and show you. Again, you can certainly use pre-shredded, or you can shred your own with a food processor. But I've found that this is probably the easiest way. I'm gonna move this down so that you can see what's happening here. But this is the easiest way, and I just cut it into cubes. I'll get it all in the bowl, and then I'll kind of make a little well in here, and I'll open up the cream cheese. I'm gonna be using, since I'm doubling my recipe, I'll use a whole block of cream cheese. Usually we make pizzas every Sunday night, so I will take out the cheese and the cream cheese Sunday morning and let it sit a little bit. I'll also cut this up a little so it's easier to melt. And I'll drop that in to the mozzarella. Usually do this in the microwave. Some people have asked what happens if you don't have a microwave. You can easily melt this on your stovetop. Double broiler probably is the best bet, but you can get just like you would make a cheese sauce. I usually do 1.5 minute increments until it's all melted through and looks like a dough. So I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. This is after 1.5 minutes. You'll see it started to melt from the bottom, but not really from the top. You want to stir it around after every 1.5 minutes because it tends to burn. And I don't know if you've ever burnt mozzarella cheese, but it's not pretty, and it tastes pretty good, but it doesn't make a good dough. I'll just stir this around a little bit and then stick it back in for another 1.5 minutes. This is almost bubbling. This is another 1.5 minutes, and you can see that it's really starting to melt. I will stir this up one more time. You want the cheese chunks. I'm sure if you shredded this, it would melt a lot quicker. But again, this is the easiest way that I've found for me. It's what works. It takes about 3 rounds of melting to get the cheese where I want it to be. So I'll melt it for another minute or so, and then it should be ready to go. So this is the last round, and I will just stir it up, get out any last little solid pieces. But as you can see, it's forming a dough already, just the cheese and the cream cheese together. I'm gonna add the dry ingredients, and that's gonna be a 1/2 cup coconut flour, and any coconut flour will do. So I'll put the 1/2 cup of coconut flour in there, and a cup of crushed pork rinds. Now you can take regular pork rinds and crush them in the food processor, or you can just buy them pre-made. I also have pork panko. This is how it comes from the grocery store, and you can order it off Amazon, either in these containers or in a larger bag. So this is a whole cup of pork rinds, crushed pork rinds. You can also crush your own and then season them, which would probably make your crust a little tastier. But I just add plain pork rinds. And then you're gonna want 4 teaspoons of baking powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of, I used to add garlic powder and salt. And now I add a half a teaspoon of garlic salt from my favorite I use for everything, Redmond's. Half a teaspoon of Redmond's garlic salt. And then, just for fun, I like to add a sprinkle of Italian seasoning to make it look like, if you want to use this as a different kind of dough, you don't want it for pizza, you could leave the Italian seasoning out. Here's where I'll add the 4 eggs on top of the dry ingredients. I know someone will tell me that I shouldn't crack them directly into the bowl, just in case, but sometimes you just gotta live a little. So you add the 4 eggs, and then you're gonna stir it up. It's still gonna be a little hot. Usually I'll put a glove on and mix it with my hands, but until it's not quite so hot, I try to stir it just a little bit with a spoon, just to incorporate everything together. And then I will get my hands in there and knead it for a few minutes. So you just wanna incorporate everything until it forms something that resembles pizza dough. Once it's mixed a little, then you can get your hand in there. It's not quite so hot, and you can mix it up. I like to put a glove on because at first it's a little sticky, but once it all incorporates, then it turns into a not quite so sticky, cohesive dough. And once it's all just a little bit put together, I like to pull it out and put it right on the counter and give it a good kneading. But it comes together really quickly. So this is a double batch, and I make 8 individual pizza crusts. So, you know, the 4 of us will eat, maybe we'll have a guest over, and then there's some crust left over for during the week. If someone wants to make a breakfast pizza, or you could also make calzones, you could make pizza rolls, you could, we talked about once maybe adding a little sweetener to it and maybe making some cinnamon rolls. But I just take the 8 individuals and roll them up. And I was rolling them out with a rolling pin, but then I discovered that I could press them out. This one seems a little bigger, so I'm going to take some out and add it to that smaller one, and then roll this one up into its own. So we have 8 individual little piles of dough. You can see those there. I discovered that I bought this tortilla press. So I discovered that I was rolling them out between 2 pieces of parchment paper. I just take regular parchment paper, I pull out a roll, a sheet, and then I cut it in half so I have these tiny little half slices. You could also buy them already pre-cut like that, but instead of rolling them out between 2 pieces of parchment, now what I do is I just take the 2 pieces of parchment, and I think I showed y'all this before, but I just crumple it up so that it lays flat. So I'll just take the dough, cover it with 2 pieces of parchment. This is a tortilla press I bought. I've been looking for one forever, and I just bought this at my grocery store in their housewares department. And it was $20. It looks like cast iron. I don't think it's cast iron, but that's what it looks like. So I take these and then I just put them on my cookie sheet. And this is a half sheet pan. And I'll press them all out that way. I'll show you that you can also roll them out. Tortilla press is not necessary, but also very easy. So let's push this aside and show you how to roll it out between 2 pieces of parchment. Now that I can do it with the space that I have. But it's just as easy. And then there you have it, pizza crust. Once they're done, all being pressed out, I will take a fork and just pop a few holes in them so that they don't puff up while they're baking. I will bake these at 400 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes. So once the crusts are done, I will take a little bit of Kerrygold butter and I will melt it, and I will add some garlic powder to it. Now I add garlic powder because this is salted butter, but you could add your real salt to some unsalted butter. I just don't want it to be too salty. But I'll mix it up and then I'll spread it over the crusts. I'll give you a close-up of the crust in just a second, but you can cook them to different degrees of doneness. You might want to just par bake a few and then put them in the freezer between parchment so that you have for later, or you could just cook them all and then add your toppings and enjoy them. Once I'm done adding the butter to the crusts, I'll add some Parmesan cheese. Now you can do, this is just Parmesan cheese that I get from the store, shredded already. You can just sprinkle some of that on top, and as it cools, the cheese will melt. You can also just grab the orange or the green can. This is a Parmesan Romano cheese. So I'll just sprinkle some of that on top. If you forget the step where you add the Italian seasoning, you could add some Italian seasoning on top here. But this is the crust done. This one's cooked a little more than this one. You could just, cook them to the degree of doneness that your family prefers. You could also just make one giant pizza instead of 4 small ones. So that's pretty much it. We like to top it. You can use Browse, which is the gold standard in keto pizza sauce, tomato sauce. I prefer to use Classico tomato basil, or I think the other one is garlic that I buy. They have no sugar in their sauce. Don't make the same mistake I made. I bought a spicy tomato basil last week and it actually has sugar in it. So we use this to top our pizzas, and then we get fresh mozzarella or shredded mozzarella, shred our own and top it with pepperoni, sausage, salami, you name it. You can add veggies if you like. I'm a pepperoni connoisseur, so I like double, triple, quadruple pepperoni, and I'll add different kinds of pepperoni to my pizza. But if you make smaller individual ones, it's easier. You could also cut those in half and make even tinier ones if you have littles that you think won't finish a whole one, or you could share that with someone. You could also just top these with some extra cheese and make garlic cheese sticks if you're making like some sort of Italian dish for breadsticks if you want, or you could roll them out and make like Olive Garden style breadsticks. Don't forget that if you want to order some real salt, garlic, or any other kind, you can click the link in my bio and get 15% off with my code MyKetogenicFamily. Make sure and subscribe to my page and like this video, and let me know what other videos you want to see. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.